Hello again. In case you forgot, my name is Shanna Russell. I'm the instructor for the Mac OS X Fundamentals for Windows Brains course on Udemy. This video is part 3 of a mini crash course that will introduce you to the concepts that we cover in the full course. In this third video, we'll go over keyboard shortcuts on the Mac. Keyboard shortcuts are very similar to what you're used to in Windows. Typically in Windows, for the most common keyboard shortcuts, you would hold down your Control key and a letter. So for example, you might do a Control S to save or a Control P to print. Most of those common shortcuts are the same on the Mac, with the exception that you use your Command key for most of the common shortcuts. So a Command S is a save and a Command P is a print. The easiest way that I think to learn shortcuts is to start by going up here into the menus. So let's say you go up here to File and you need to print. It's going to show you the keyboard shortcut for that command right here. So printing is Command P. And command is an easy one to remember because it actually looks like that on the key on the keyboard. You have that little symbol. Some of the other ones are not quite as easy. Some keyboards actually have this symbol on the Option key, but a lot of them don't. But that's what this is the Option key. The way that I remember it is it kind of looks like a little guy riding up an escalator. And stay with me here. An escalator will give you the option to which floor to go to. I don't know why, but that helps me remember it. This arrow is the Shift key, and the Shift key makes things uppercased. So an up arrow makes sense for that one. So right here are the symbols for all of the modifier keys. So we talked about Shift being an up arrow, Command being the little symbol that you see on the key, Option being the little guy on the escalator, and Control looks like a little caret. So as long as you know these keys right here and what those little symbols mean, then you can find keyboard shortcuts for anything. So if we want to see our web history, we just hit a Command Y. If we want to show the favorites bar, it's a Shift Command B. And I've also added a PDF to the resources in this lesson with a lot of the super common shortcuts and how you get to them. So be sure to download that. You can get even more advanced with keyboard shortcuts by visiting your system preferences and going to the keyboard preferences. So in the keyboard system preferences, there's a whole section dedicated to shortcuts. And these are different shortcuts that you'd find on your Mac, like we talked a minute ago about the Mission Control shortcut. Well, as you notice that if you click on it and then click on it one more time, you can actually change this. So if I wanted to change the Mission Control shortcut to Command up, then I just type it, and now that's my shortcut to get to Mission Control. I'm going to change it back before I forget that I did that though. So click on it, hold down Control up, and now I've made my shortcut Control up. And you can go through all of these and see if there are any of the system shortcuts that you want to change. My favorite part of this is app shortcuts. So if you find that you have to do something a lot, like let's say you do a lot of strike throughs, but notice there's not a keyboard shortcut for that. Well, take a look at exactly how it shows up in the menu. So strike, this is in Pages, and strike through with a capital S. If I go back over here to my system preferences, under app shortcuts, hit the plus to add one, and this is for Pages, And the menu title is exactly how it shows up in here. So strike through with a capital S. Let's go back and type that in. And what do I want the keyboard shortcut to be? This is kind of tricky because you don't want to make, I don't want to make it a Command S because I know that that's save. So let's try maybe a Control Option S. So now I've made strike through in Pages Command Option S. I'm going to add that. And let's go back over here to Pages, and I'll type a word and highlight it and see if Control Option S actually gives me a strike through, and it does. So anything that you see up here in a menu of any application that doesn't have a keyboard shortcut, that's how you make one. And back to system preferences and keyboards, there's also a way to make text shortcuts. And these shortcuts, if you have an iPhone or an iPad, this might look familiar to you because it's exactly the same thing. So what this is saying is if I type in OMW, it's going to substitute the phrase on my way. Right here, I made it for whenever I type in a ZX, which is something you don't normally type together, then it will type in my email address, which is not really my email address, but let's just see what that does. So if I type in a ZX and then put a space, it fills it in with that phrase. So come in here, and I also like to put my kids' names in here. So if I type in Kristen with a lowercase k, it's going to fill it in with an uppercase K, and it's not going to try to change it to Kiss or something like that. And things like SysAid, which is a website that we use at work a lot, anytime I would try to type it in, it would substitute the word seaside. So I came in here to the text shortcuts, and I'm saying anytime I type SysAid, I want it to type SysAid, not seaside. So those are your, and again, we are in System Preferences, Keyboard, Text. And that's it for keyboard shortcuts. It's something that you just want to keep practicing. Learn a few of the important ones and just keep adding them as you use them. If you enjoyed the videos in this crash course and want to learn the skills that we cover in the rest of the class, I encourage you to take my full course on Udemy, where you can learn even more about how to use your Mac. More details about the full course and a valuable coupon can be found at hightechmom.com/crash course.